Hello, welcome to Have a Go, and I'm Alan. Today we're going to start working on these castings. This is a protractor disc which will go behind the rotating head we just got sorted, and this will go up and down the slideways on the said rotating head. First order of business will be the bandsaw, I think, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got the castings free now. This tongue has a very slight angle on it, but it should be okay. So let's give it a quick bit of a tidy up on the belt sander. Less machining to do then. Belt sander can't get in these radiuses, unfortunately. So I can either work on this or I can work on this. Might just face off this quickly in the mill before I put it on the lathe, because I don't really want to get that mountain off on the lathe because it'll take forever. The grip is a bit crap on the vise with a round object like this, which is why I don't really want to push it too much further. I'm going to use this so that it's gripping across both of those pads and not just this bottom one, which means it might flip. Right, now I've got a reference surface. So now I've got two reference surfaces. Two! Ah ha ha ha! This side has to be flat because the clapper assembly will be moving on it. That is just touched off. Well, go inside then, cat. If you don't like the rain, go inside. Okay, it was not happy about this part being unsupported. Okay, with this support underneath here, it was a lot happier with that. I completely got rid of that shrink void too. Let's try that. Not too bad. For the dimension for this, he just lists it as 11 1/4. It's not as per the book, but my plan is to drill a 10mm hole, tap it to M12 and use some M12 rod as an arbor held in a 3-jaw. I'm also going to cut a slot in one of the nuts so it'll compress when the chuck closes up on it. So this goes on first, and this goes on, and this goes on as a jam nut. Right, let's chuck it up in the lathe and see if that worked. Right, now that I don't have the jaws in the way, let's check that diameter again. Or circumference, I should say. 11 7/8. Right, that's 11 3/8. So I've got 1/8 to go. Yeah, it's got it. Alright, change the chucks back over. While I'm at it, I'll just oil up the bearings. Right, now I need to take this to the 15-point 875 diameter. And now for boring. Right, didn't want to have to do this, but better than it was. That does not sound like a happy insert. Oh, this will be the first insert that's been completely used up. The bore is now concentric, I can tell just from the sound of it. We're sitting on 14.8 at the moment. Yep, that's got it. And this goes on here. Still a bit of aluminium on the base here that I need to get rid of. Gonna file it because I can't get in close enough with the lathe without it catching. I'll know that I've got it when the protractor disc can come right down to on it. Better lock the tailstock before I forget. Or lock the ram, I should say. Yes, it'll sit there with no tailstock support. However, it'll also flex a lot more when I try and cut, which is why I had the tailstock in. There we go. That's what we want. And that distance there is how much we have to take off. This part here is actually a wee bit taller than it should be. So the good news though is that that means that I don't have to cut notches in the protractor disc. Right, I just have to face the top of this off a bit better than I did and drill and tap for an M10 bolt. A work of seconds on the mill. Right, I need an 8.5mm hole through there to tap it, so I'll be right back. The hole isn't centered on the cap there, but I was trying to get it centered on the channel rather than the cap. I only just noticed I didn't actually press record. Oh dear. Yeah, I've just screwed the protractor disc into the front of this, and I think I need to add another layer of shims to the ram cap. Yeah, there's two screws. There's two screws holding them in. Not a problem with this top one. This bottom one actually bound up until I drilled out the protractor disc hole to 6.5mm rather than the 6mm for the M6 bolt. But now goes in nicely, and the locking nut on top locks it so it can't rotate when you got it set to the position you want. So you just lock this. You lock this nut here, and that screws down onto the arbor. Loosen it off. You can turn it. Alright, now to mill it to accept these ways. Safety spectacles. I'm going to do these pads first, then the sides, and once I've got those dialed in, I'll know what this is, and I'll go up 1/4 of an inch to get the height of these. Alright, that's got that height set, and I may have outsmarted myself. I didn't leave enough travel in the quill to reach up 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to have to reacquire that level. Okay, unlike before, I now have enough travel to bring this up at least 1/4 of an inch on the quill. Right, that's the level it's at the moment, so I need to bring it down to about 150. If I wasn't using the mill, I'd have to do a heartbreaking amount of sanding and filing for this. And you may have noticed this part here isn't milled smooth. That's because that'll be where the screws for the jib come through. I'm going to reduce the depth of cut from 50 down to about 20 or 25. From there it should just be a simple job of scraping it flat. We're going to start scraping in the wear pads for this downfeed. Before that I've got to glue up that. Pretty good to begin with. While I'm at it, I've got to face off, thing the back of this. Not sure how much of that you got, but I've scraped in the pads, the top and the back side of it. So now, let's put some clamp pads on them. Okay, this was the very end of it, and I won't need to use rust remover. I'm going to have to use label remover. And now the shed smells of limonene or whatever the heck it's called. So let's do it again just to confirm this will work. So that goes on this side, this goes on the other side. That's got it. The 1 inch wide cold rolled steel was just wide enough on this side that it was pushing this sideways. Had to resharpen the 3mm drill bit, which sucked because I'm not good at sharpening drill bits. So it took a couple of attempts before I got my angles right. But now the 3mm drill is sharp again. Two more M8 holes to drill. Alright, last bit of M8 tapping. Alright, last of my M8 by 20 bolts. Just like I bought one. Let's put our jib strip in. Now to tap this. Make a couple of gib screws. Right, sweep all the stuff out of it. Now to drill the other jib or gib. Right, loosen this off so I can get it out. Last hole to tap today, hopefully. Right, let's put it together. Right, the next order of business will be making the feed screw for this. But that'll be enough of a faff that I think it will be a separate video. So, thank you for watching and have a good day.